All right, so you send in some articles about Whoopi Goldberg being MIA from The View. It's got me thinking. Are you, wondering if this whole thing is really just the flu, or is there something more, behind the scenes? It's definitely piqued my curiosity, too.
Well, let's dive into these articles you provided and
Yeah.
see what we can uncover.
Okay, so based on what you've read, it seems like Whoopi was unexpectedly absent for 2 days of filming, which is pretty unusual for her, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and the articles point out that even her co-host, Joy Behar, seemed genuinely caught off guard, on air. It definitely wasn't a planned absence.
Right. Yeah, I felt like everyone was scrambling a bit, understandably. The official reason given was the flu, though. Joy Behar even urged viewers to be careful, because it's going around. But come on, the flu. That feels a little too convenient, doesn't it?
I can see why you'd say that. Yeah, in this age of instant information, a simple explanation like the flu can sometimes feel like a bit of a smokescreen, especially when it comes to public figures.
Exactly. And it's not like we've heard anything directly from Whoopi herself, which just adds to the mystery. I mean, think about it. In a world where, everyone is constantly sharing every detail of their lives online, this kind of silence is almost deafening.
It really is. And what's fascinating here is that this absence and the lack of clear information surrounding it actually highlights something pretty significant about our relationship with him, media and celebrity culture.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What do you mean?
Well, think about it. We're so used to having access to information 24/7. We get updates, we see behind-the-scenes glimpses, we feel like we're in the know. But then something like this happens, a sudden absence, a lack of explanation. And it reminds us that even in a hyper-connected world, there are still these pockets of mystery.
It's like we're getting a glimpse behind the curtain and realizing that things aren't always as they appear.
Precisely. And that can be both unsettling and strangely captivating. It makes you wonder what else might be going on that we're not privy to.
It also makes you realize how invested we are in the lives of these public figures, even if we don't know them personally.
Absolutely. We form these parasocial relationships with people we see on our screens. We feel like we know them. We have opinions about their lives, and their absence can genuinely disrupt our routines and expectations.
It's like when your favorite show goes on hiatus and you're left with this void.
Exactly. And in a way, this unexpected absence, even if it is just due to the flu, reveals just how much we rely on these familiar faces for a sense of normalcy and connection.
You know, it's funny, because even though the official reason is the flu, the articles you sent also highlight how much speculation there is online. Everyone's got a theory.
Right.
And it's like they're trying to fill in the blanks of the story themselves.
That's so true. It's almost as if the lack of information creates a vacuum that people feel compelled to fill with their own narratives. And this speaks to a larger issue in our digital age, the spread of misinformation. When there's a void of clear communication from reliable sources, speculation and rumors can quickly take over. And that's where critical thinking becomes so important.
Totally, you really have to be careful about what you believe, especially online. It's easy to get swept up in the latest gossip or conspiracy theory.
Exactly. It's like a game of telephone. The story gets passed around, details get distorted, and suddenly you're miles away from the original truth.
Okay, but let's be honest. Even if we know better, it's still hard to resist. A little bit of celebrity gossip. There's something about these behind-the-scenes mysteries that just grabs our attention, you know?
Absolutely. It's human nature to be curious, especially when it comes to people we perceive as being in positions of power or influence. We want to know what's really going on, what they're really like behind closed doors.
It's like we're trying to peek behind the curtain and get a glimpse of the real person, the one that exists outside of the carefully curated public image.
And that's a really interesting point, because it speaks to a larger question about our relationship with celebrity culture. We build these narratives around public figures. We project our own expectations onto them. And then when something happens that challenges that narrative, we become even more intrigued.
It's almost like we're looking for cracks in the facade. Those moments where the carefully constructed persona slips and we get a glimpse of the human being underneath.
And those glimpses, even if they're shrouded in mystery, like this situation with Whoopi, can be incredibly revealing. They remind us that celebrities are human too, just like us. They get sick, they have personal issues, they make mistakes.
Which is something we often forget in the age of social media, where everyone's trying to present this perfect curated version of themselves.
Right, and this whole situation with Whoopi, the speculation, the silence, it sort of forces us to confront that disconnect between the public image and the private reality. It's a reminder that even those in the spotlight are entitled to their privacy. and deserve our respect, especially when they're dealing with personal matters.
Absolutely. I mean, even though I'm curious about what's going on, I definitely wouldn't want anyone speculating about my personal life if I was going through something challenging.
Exactly, and it brings up another interesting point. While we might be eager to fill in the blanks ourselves, sometimes the most responsible thing we can do is simply acknowledge that we don't have all the information and wait for a clearer picture to emerge.
So in a way, this whole Whoopi's missing saga is less about the actual event itself and more about what it reviews about us, our obsession with celebrity culture, our need to fill information gaps, our struggle to balance curiosity with respect for privacy in the digital age.
That's a great way to put it. It's like we're holding a mirror up to ourselves and examining our own reactions and assumptions. And that kind of self-reflection can be pretty valuable, don't you think?
Definitely. And I think it's something our listener can really ponder as they continue to follow this story. What stands out to you about this whole situation? What does it make you think about in terms of your own media consumption and your relationship with public figures? Yeah, it really makes you realize how much power these public figures have, even when they're not actively trying to wield it. Like their absence alone can spark so much discussion and introspection.
It's true. And speaking of absence, I'm curious to see how Whoopi's eventual return to The View will be handled. Will they address the elephant in the room? Or will it be business as usual?
Oh, that's a great question. Knowing The View,
Yeah.
they probably won't shy away from it. Can you imagine the Hot Topics segment? The ratings would go through the roof.
I can definitely see that happening. But on a more serious note, I think her return, whenever it happens, will be a fascinating case study. In media dynamics and public perception, will the speculation die down or will it intensify? Will Whoopi feel obligated to address the rumors? Or will she simply focus on moving forward?
I think a lot will depend on how she chooses to frame her absence. If she provides more context, even something simple, it could help to quell some of the wilder theories floating around.
I agree. A little bit of transparency can go a long way
Yeah.
in managing public perception,
Yeah.
especially in today's media landscape.
And you know, this whole situation has really made me think about these articles. You sent in a new light. It's not just about Whoopi being absent from a talk show. It's about how we as a society consume and interpret information, how we navigate the blurred lines between public personas and private lives, and how even a simple absence can expose the complexities of our relationship. With celebrity culture,
That's a brilliant observation, and it's a testament to the power of these deep dives. We often start with a seemingly simple topic and end up uncovering a whole web of interconnected ideas and insights.
Exactly. So, to wrap things up for our listener today, we may not have definitive answers about why Whoopi was absent, but we've gained a deeper understanding of the media landscape, our own relationship with information, and the power dynamics at play when it comes to celebrity culture.
Well said. And who knows, maybe Whoopi's absence will spark a larger conversation about these very issues.
Now, that would be a hot topic worth tuning in for. But until then, I encourage you to keep an eye out for her return to The View and see how it all unfolds. And maybe, just maybe, you'll start to notice these same patterns and dynamics at play in other areas of your media consumption. It's all connected, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive. Until next time.